What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Tip Thursday with me, Connor Klein. This is the Czar Experience, and today I'm speaking to you from City Garden in the center of Odessa, Ukraine. So recently I've been seeing a lot of articles and vlogs here on YouTube talking about how cheap Ukraine is, and a lot of these price comparisons saying it's like a third or maybe a quarter the price of, say, the price of going to London, New York. So in this video, on this Tip Thursday, I'm going to be giving you my personal experience and showing you what it's really like here in terms of the comparison of price between maybe the kind of countries you're used to traveling from, especially if it's in Western Europe, and here in Ukraine if you want to be a baller. So cue the intro. Dobro požalovat to my humble abode here in Odessa. Now, if you're a regular on the channel, you know that I normally stay in furnished apartments. I rarely stay in hotels. I just personally feel a lot more comfortable with that. I like anonymity, to be honest, and not having staff around so much. So what I look for is a comfortable apartment in a very central location. If I'm in a new city, I don't want to be traveling and commuting in and out if I want to check it out and have fun in the city, of course. So here I would say the prices in Odessa off-season are incredibly cheap. Bear in mind that if you're in the high season like July, August, it's not going to be this kind of price. I would say that price in Kiev is maybe double of Odessa off-season. So to give you a little bit of range, I would say that Kiev is probably about 1/3 the price of renting in Western Europe, and here in Odessa is probably 1/4, 1/5 even off season. Now when it's the high season here, the price is really triple, right? Which is normal because this is a very touristic city, of course, and there's just so many visitors during the summer months. At the moment, off season, you can get a really nice Airbnb apartment in the city center, and it costs like 20 to 25 euros, I would say. Now, if you were in Kiev, it would be more expensive. It would be, we'll say, maybe 40 to 50 euros a night in the city center. So that gives you a very good comparison about how much it costs to actually stay here short term. Of course, if you rent longer term, you negotiate something and get that a lot cheaper than paying per night. And if you stay in a hotel, it's probably pretty comparable, maybe a little bit more expensive if you go for a hotel option, especially if it's a very nice hotel. So I'm feeling a little bit hungry. Let's go and check out the food. So eating out in Ukraine is indeed probably about half to 1/3 the price, depending on what level of restaurant you're eating in, compared to Western Europe or North America. Now, you do have, of course, traditional Ukrainian food. Here I have some delicious vareniki, but it's not just limited to traditional Ukrainian food. In fact, there are lots of other nationalities and cuisine from the former Soviet Union, like Crimean Tatar, Georgian, Russian cuisine as well, of course, Azeri cuisine. So you get that great array of options, plus you have, of course, Italian, other European, and of course Japanese, and sushi is really popular. And even on top of that, you can smoke shisha, hookah, just as good as you're going to get in the Middle East. Смачного, приятного аппетита. Now, I'm very rarely at the supermarket, but if I do go there, it's nowhere to pick up some local alcohol. And here in Ukraine, it's so much cheaper than you're gonna find in Western Europe or in Northern Europe in particular, and in my North America. But this is, for example, is a bottle of Szabo. It's a local Szampanskaya or sparkling wine, and it's probably about 3 to 4 euros, like $4 or $5 US. So you can't go wrong with that, especially if you've ever been drinking in Scandinavia, then you'll see a whopping difference. So if you're a regular viewer of my Instagram stories, you'll know that I am a coffee addict. You know, every day I'm here working in nice cafes where I get the best coffee, and that's quality here in Odessa and Ukraine is just as good as you're going to find in other countries if you go to specialty cafes. And the price is probably about 2/3. So that's about 1/3 cheaper, maybe up to half price, but that's a little bit rare. Then you're going to find in cities like Amsterdam, London, Paris, probably a bit more expensive in New York and cities like that. 5th coffee of the day. So next up is transport. Now, not all of you are going to be on electric unicycle. You're actually going to have to pay for your transport as you go around in Ukraine. Now, here in Odessa, there is no metro. there are metros in Kiev and in Kharkiv, and actually also in Dnipro. The metro in Ukraine costs around 10% maybe of that in Western Europe. Yeah, metro is extremely cheap here. Now, if you take a flight, for example, I would say that the cost of flights here internally is about 50% what you would expect to pay in, say, North America and Western Europe in general. It can also be quite affordable. In general, taxis are also around, I would say, 25-30% of the cost in Western Europe, maybe even a little bit cheaper. So, bon voyage, safe travels, and счастливые пути. So you're all probably wondering, how much does it cost to be a bowler, to enjoy that famous Ukrainian nightlife, especially here in Odessa, in the south of the country, which is so famous during the summer. Now, if you want to go for cocktails, go to nice places, you're going to have an amazing time, and you're going to do that for just a fraction of the cost of like going to Saint-Tropez, for example, or going to Nikki Beach in Miami, these kind of high-end places. Here in Odessa, you can have the same quality, same beautiful girls. Actually, I think they're more beautiful here. And everything's going to cost you probably 20%, 25% of being at the very high end. So if you go for something that's not quite as high-end, probably still going to be about a third to half the price. But at that very top level, the quality, can't beat it. If you're more interested in getting to know how you can be a bowler, a high roller in the Eastern Europe, then click the link below the video in the description. Got my own free training course there. Afterwards, you can also look at hiring me to coach you and how you can have this spectacular Zara experience when you come to places like Ukraine or Belarus or Russia. All right, see you later. I'm going to order a drink and hit the nightclubs. That's right, go get it. So if you haven't watched my 5 reasons never to date a Ukrainian girl and then my sequel video, 5 more reasons never to date a Ukrainian, then you really need to go ahead and look at those 2 videos. I'm going to link them up in the cards above the video, also down in the description below. And the reason for that is that financially speaking, Ukrainian girls could be your biggest expense while you're here. Now, of course, I have 5 reasons to date a Ukrainian girl, and that gives you the positive things about dating in Ukraine and dating Ukrainian women. But so many foreign guys come here to Odessa in particular and leave financially a lot lighter than they came. And that's because in addition to scammers and problems like that, here in Ukraine, men take the lead. There's no going Dutch or dividing the bill. You are the one who decides what to do. You lead and then you pay the bill. And as a result of that, when you're going out, and if you're going out and dating a lot, then obviously the cost of things like entertainment, restaurants, all that ends up costing you double, at least double, if not more money. Maybe it even ends up costing you triple. So just bear that in mind, that if you're coming here and you're planning to date Ukrainian girls, it may be significantly cheaper than being in America or being in France or being in the United Kingdom, Germany, those countries. But if you end up paying for 2 people or even more, maybe she invites her friends or something, then it's going to end up costing you the same price ultimately when you go out and when you're out partying and entertainment and food. So just factor that into your budget. It may turn out to be a very expensive decision to come here if you get scammed. Of course, I have personal coaching if you're planning to come here and you think that you need help to avoid those kind of problems. You can just write me an email at connorklein@zaraexperience.com. Also, you can reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is ZaraExperience. So your buddy Connor is looking out for you. Make sure that you're careful and be wary financially with Ukrainian women. So have you been to Ukraine? Have you traveled in this region in general? How did you find the price here compared to what you were expecting, compared to where you used to traveling, and maybe even compared to where you're from? Let me know in the comment section below this video. We're creating this amazing community of people who are really interested. You guys out there are passionate about traveling Eastern Europe, so definitely drop me a message with your opinion and personal experience. If you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and strike the like button, give it a big thumbs up. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you've squeezed that red subscribe button and that you've whacked the notification bell beside it so that you get notified whenever I'm uploading new video content. I'm going to enjoy this amazing evening, so I wish you all do svidaniya, do pobачення. See you in the next one.
Zara Experience.